Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a very long time in between YouTubes for me. The last one was the day or 2 days before my bikini competition, and I've had a lot of questions since that asking what the hell happened, what was it all about, and kind of where I'm at now. I'm just gonna start with running you guys through the day of competition and what the experience was like and how I went. It's a very, very long day. A lot of girls get there really early to have their makeup done. I had my makeup at 8. You get your top up coat, so you get your tan done the night before, which is that like intense orange tan. And then in the morning you get a top up coat after you've showered it off in the morning. And you just have hair and makeup, and you go backstage, put your bikini on, and wait to be called. So my category, which was the bikini short category, was against 48 other girls. So it was huge. Compared to other shows, that was the biggest category, and it was the biggest competition in Australia, like ever. So the competition was fierce. But you go on, you get called to line up, you line up in your numbers, and then you go backstage and they'll call your name, and then you come on stage, you come to the front, you've got your front pose, go to the side, you've got your side pose, other side, another pose, and then you got the back, and you literally just have to keep posing and trying to catch the attention of the judges whilst all the other 48 girls come on stage. And I was number 13, as an unlucky number. And so I had to wait for girl number 48. So we were on stage for a total of 40 something minutes, like nuts, in heels, posing, starving. Anyway, they do most of the judging in the morning show, basically pick who's gonna be in the top 10 girls. Usually it's a good sign if you get called out in the first round. So they'll call out, they'll go through the girls' numbers, they'll call you out, you stand at the front, and they'll compare you all. That's basically the top 10 lineup, unless between the morning and the night show you really mess up, like eat heaps of food, get really bloated. So I got called into that lineup. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like I think I've made the top 10. So I was pretty happy with that. And they just compare all the girls, and then we go off stage, we went home, me and my friends went home, had some food, and then came back for the evening show, which you just do the exactly the same thing again, but there's a bigger audience, and then there's the evening wear where you just wear a gown. We did that, came off stage, ate a lot of food, and then it was the evening round, went back on, and that's when they announce how they've placed everyone. So they'll call out the top 10, and then previous shows I've been at, they'll then call up the top 5 and then the top 3. Because it was my show, I didn't actually watch what happened. So they called the top 10, and sadly I was not in the top 10. So, which was like, because I'd been called out for the top 10 in the morning, I did have expectations that I was going to be in the top 10 for the placing, and I wasn't. And honestly, I felt pretty shattered. Like, as you guys, if you're on my Instagram, know, I kind of did an update and was like, hey guys, I'm actually feeling pretty shattered that I didn't even place. Like, that was kind of my minimum goal, was just to place in top 10. And I was honestly pretty upset. But then I had a really good chat that night with like my coach and my friends and people that are closest to me. And one of the reasons I felt really like sad was because I felt really stupid, because I'd been documenting this journey for you guys on my Instagram, on YouTube. EHP had followed me the whole way, so I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well, and by well I mean place. So I felt really stupid, and I was like, so many people were like, you've got this, surely you're confident, you look amazing, you're gonna win. And I was like, why do people have to put expectations on me? And someone said to me like, because they believe in you. And that was like a really cool realization for me. And it's like, yeah, like when I see how hard someone's working and how amazing they look, I believe that they'll do well because I think they deserve it and they look amazing. So that really changed my headspace, and I was like, wow, that's so nice that everyone you know, thought I was going to do well, and, you know, sadly I didn't place. But for me, I feel like I did well because I worked as hard as I could for a very long time to get my body in a position, in a physical state that I never even imagined possible. And that, to me, I know everyone says this and it's like, oh yeah, you're just saying that because you can't admit that you were sad about losing or whatever, but it genuinely, like, no one can take that away from me. And the fact that I didn't place doesn't make me stand there and go, oh, I didn't look good enough. With the judging for WBFF, it's not just who has the best physique. The judges have different criteria every year. Like, you look at Rachel Dillon and Lauren Simpson, who are the previous 2 world champs. They have completely different looks. Rachel has a lot of a softer kind of look, whereas Lauren has built up a lot of muscle. She's got that really hard look, and she's built her curves. How can you say that, you know, one year one's a winner and the next she is? It's not based on your physique. It's based on marketability, in that, you know, can they promote you for a magazine? Can you promote WBFF well? Can you be a good face of the federation? And your attitude, what you bring to the stage, like, are you bubbly, are you happy, are you really getting the audience involved, are you looking and engaging with the judges, are you confident, sassy, like all that kind of thing, which I know that I lacked on stage, and it's something that I would work on for my next show. It's not just about your physique. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, out of the 48 girls up there, personally, I think my physique was at least a top 5. I can confidently say that. I'm really happy with the package I put up there. I was really lean, I had a lot of muscles, really defined. Unfortunately, I can't get feedback from the judges, but the only thing I would say in terms of my physique I would have to change is bringing my glutes in more. I was very lean in the upper body, but my glutes and legs are quite big. So that's potentially something they were looking for, but I don't know. So it's really hard to know what to do for next time, but I know what, you know, my goals will be if I were to compete again. That's kind of what happened. Yeah, I was really upset initially, and now it's kind of like just this thing that I did and it's over and it's not a big deal. So thanks so much to everyone that supported me, messaged me. Like, I had so much love from all of you guys, and that in itself was just like really cool to experience. And yeah, I'm gonna jump into the Q&As now. There's some really funny questions, like, do you have to shave your arms? No, you don't have to. I didn't shave mine. Would you do it again? So this is a question I've had a lot. When I first got off that stage, I was like, there's a lot of politics that goes behind WBFF in their decision making. And for that reason, I was like, you know what? I don't think I would do this again. And also when I was up on stage, I wasn't up on stage being like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I'm loving being up here, strutting, posing. I was kind of like, okay, is this over now? I want to go eat. And that's not just because I wanted to eat and I was hungry. It's because for me, the joy is in the journey and seeing my body change and the photo shoots I got to do, which were amazing. Would I do it again? Yes. And I'm actually planning on doing it again. So that's because I really, like, I want to see what I can do to my body next time. Like, if I can achieve the things I want to achieve to make myself look different. Because for me, I don't feel like I need to build a lot of muscle, which takes a long time. Some other girls who are a lot leaner, like one of my friends, she feels she needs to build more muscle, so she's going to take a longer off season to focus on that. For me, I just think I need to get leaner and get better with my stage presence. So that's something that I'm going to work on, and I'm going to do a much shorter prep than 6 months. Just personally, for me, I think that's better. I'm planning on, I feel like nervous saying it this early because so much can change. At this stage, I would be really keen to either do the Sydney show in July, I think it is, next year, 2019, or Worlds, which is in the Bahamas, because Bahamas. How many days a week were you training and resting? So something that we learnt about me in this prep was I am a highly stressed person. So my body didn't respond well to a high volume of training. The amount of cortisol released from training actually had the opposite effect on me, and I held on to fat more. So when we increased my training volume to 6 weight training sessions a week, I sat in a plateau for 3 weeks. I didn't lose fat, and I was kind of like, this is not good. I have to get on stage in 6 weeks and I'm kind of freaking out. So that made my stress even worse, and the fact that I wasn't able to lose fat even harder. As soon as we dropped my volume to 4 training sessions and focused on increasing my cardio, like low intensity, I dropped fat like that. So I was training 4 weight sessions a week, and obviously my cardio increased over time. So towards the end, I was doing 6 cardio sessions, so 3 45-minute sessions on the Stairmaster and 3 hybrid methods, which is the hitless method. Prior to that, I was just doing 30 minutes of walking on the treadmill, and I had daily step goals, so like 10k steps, and that increased to 12k, and that's as many steps as I had to do in a day, and that was inclusive of my cardio. What was the hardest part about your prep? I think just be the restrictiveness with the food. I'm like a bit of a snacker, and for me, in terms of the psychology around dieting, as soon as I'm told I can't have something, I want it even more, even if I didn't want it previously. So I was faced with that challenge every day, because there were certain foods that would react with my gut, that would give me bloating, that would increase my stress. So things like, I love chocolate covered nuts, and when I go to the supermarket, I always walk around with like a handful of chocolate covered nuts. They add up, by the way. Those calories are through the roof. I found it hard to stop too. Like every night I would kind of want a little dessert, so I would have like a bowl of Exo Crunch or Maple Crunch, which is like a gluten-free cereal that I love, and I'd only have like, it would gradually decrease how many grams I could have because it's quite high in carbs. I'd have a bowl of like 30 grams, but I'd always go for a handful more. I'd always put like 5, even if it was 5 grams, I put more in, just because I couldn't accept that I had to stick to that number. So that was really hard, like the fact that you had to be quite strict, and I wasn't really that strict. More towards the end I didn't cheat in terms of having like, oh, I've gone and had a pizza. It would be like extra spoonfuls of almond butter or extra handfuls of the gluten-free cereal, which definitely added up. So many people are like, why didn't you place? I don't know, guys. They don't really tell you. Usually they give everyone feedback, but because there were so many girls this time, they can't give feedback to everyone, only the top 10. And I'm like, pretty sure the people that didn't even place in the top 10 need the feedback the most. So what was your body fat percentage? I actually don't know. We measured my body fat percentage like a few days or even a whole week prior, and I was at 13%, which is the lowest I've ever been. So I could have been lower, and I didn't weigh myself either because there weren't scales at our apartment, but I could have been lower than 54 kilos as well. So there wasn't a lot on me. I was like pretty lean. Can we see your evening gown? I'm gonna put a picture here. Ah. I loved my evening gown. The only thing was, it was a little bit big for me, so around the boobies, which by the way have come back bigger than before I competed. I don't know how that works, I'm not complaining, but I lost them massively for this comp, and the dress didn't fit me properly, so I felt really awkward holding that up. How much did it cost to compete overall? I'm interested in competing. I don't know if I can afford it. Girl, holy, it is so expensive. I actually didn't get like, I don't know, being an influencer or whatever, I hate that word, but having a following on Instagram, you can like, I probably could have used that to get some stuff and promote it in exchange for having it for free, which I did have my evening gown. That was the agreement I had with the dollhouse, but I paid for my bikini, I paid for my shoes, my tan, my makeup, the ticket to actually compete, my registration gown for the registration for the night before, all the photo shoots, which, you know, I chose to do, but why would you not do them if you get yourself in that condition. And then we had to fly to the Gold Coast and pay for accommodation and getting to and from places. So I actually haven't figured out a figure. I'm gonna ballpark it and say I probably spent around maybe like $6,000 or $7,000. Pause for reaction. Just picking jaw off ground. So it's an expensive sport. You don't win money, even if you win. I think you do in the pro category. So you really gotta wanna do it, guys. You really gotta wanna do it. After the competition, reverse dieting is really important. There are two ways that you would, like two things you would do after a competition, depending on the person. You either reverse diet, which is slowly and incrementally bringing your calories back up to your baseline, which obviously your baseline changes because you've been on lower calories for a longer period of time, so our bodies adjust. And the idea behind that is putting on as little fat as possible, and you would still be doing your training, just not as much as in the lead up to comp, and your steps and your cardio and stuff. The other is going straight back to baseline, maybe a modified baseline, maybe less calories than what your previous baseline would be, because mine's about 2,300. So I was eating like 1,000 calories the last few days of my comp, so I couldn't just jump straight back up to that, because that's how you put on the fat quick. The reason you would go straight to baseline is if you're not going to be compliant. So if you're not going to be able to stick to the reverse diet, it's pointless. I had a few days off after the competition where I just ate things that I really missed, like donuts. And then I was tracking my food again, and I managed to stay really lean. And straight after my competition, like a week later, if that, I flew to Dubai. And tip number one, post-comp, don't go overseas, especially after your first show. Maybe a second show when you kind of got it on lock a bit more. But I went away and I was really good for the first week I was away, like stuck to my calories, took my scales, weighed all my food, and then I got a little bit more flexible. I was eating out, I had a couple of drinks. I don't really drink much alcohol, so that wasn't really an issue. And I got like quite inflamed and stressed and into bad habits, not sleeping so much, like just going to bed late. I was doing heaps of work over there, and I wasn't training as much or getting as much kind of steps and cardio in. So definitely put on more fat than would have been ideal, put on more. But I haven't kind of blown out and gone crazy, which is good. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. Now I'm just kind of sticking to my calories and monitoring whether I'm gaining or losing or staying the same. And based on that, we'll just kind of increase it. So the goal is to get me back up to baseline. It's just so you don't mess up your metabolism, so that it becomes really hard for you to lose fat, because your body's not focusing on fat loss, it's focusing on like survival and taking care of your poor body that's been through so much after a competition. My focus now, or after my competition, was strength training. It's a really good time to focus on eating more food, getting a lot of rest and recovery, trying to lift really heavy. And I did do that for a bit. And now I've just released my 8-week fat loss lean out guide, which I'm doing alongside my girls. So I'm not really focusing, I'm focusing on like getting stronger, of course, but it's not a strength-based program. So I'm doing that with my girls and focusing more on rest and recovery, because that was something that I really sucked at this time around, and always suck at, just always. I just suck at it. So, sorry for the boring, like sitting in the one spot YouTube. I'm going to start showing you guys like what I'm eating, and a lot more YouTubes for all the questions that I get asked. If anyone wants to see any specific YouTube videos, comment below or hit me up on Instagram. I'm back, guys. I'm gonna be posting more regularly now, and I can't wait to be interacting with you guys more. So thank you so much for, if you got this far, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and give the video a like, show me some love. I'm out, so thank you guys. I will chat to you very soon. Bye.